everybody, welcome back to House Heart Home. Today's video, I'm sure the thumbnail must be making you guys salivate because these 5 breakfast recipes are so healthy but so tasty and so easy to make. So before we jump on into today's video, I want to share something with you guys because today's video is so special and it is in collaboration with another Indian YouTuber in Canada. Her name is Navneet Kaur and her YouTube channel is called Nav Kaur. She is a mindfulness and productivity coach. She specializes in productivity tips and mindfulness tips for side hustlers, especially beginners. She shares these tips to motivate them to stop their limiting beliefs and take action. That sounds amazing and I really need some of her tips. So today her video is going to be about 5 morning habits for side hustlers to be productive and mindful. And I'm making a video on 5 healthy breakfasts, so it's an amazing combination. You can have a nice healthy breakfast and kickstart your day and use her 5 morning habits and you can have a perfect start to your day. Her today's video will be linked down in the description box. I'll also leave an icon up here. After you're done watching mine, definitely make sure to go over to her channel and watch her video and let her know in the comments below that Sahana sent you. And if you're coming here today from Nav Kaur's channel, then hi guys, welcome to House Heart Home. My name is Sahana and I make videos on cleaning motivation, lots of recipes and some day in the life vlogs, grocery hauls and so much more. So if you like today's video, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe down below and hit the bell icon and join the family, and comment below if you're coming over from Nav Kaur's channel. Now without further ado, let's start cooking. So for the first dish, I'm taking 1 cup of cracked wheat or dalia or broken wheat. This is so fibrous and so full of nutrition, guys. And it's so good to have in the morning because it keeps you full for longer versus a regular upma. So what I'm doing here, in a pan, I've taken some ghee and put the rava and I'm roasting it till it gives a nice aroma. Then for seasoning, 1 teaspoon of mustard, 1 teaspoon cumin, 1 teaspoon urad dal and half a teaspoon chana dal, and let it splutter and roast well. And then I'm going to add chopped up curry leaves, 2 slit green chilies and 1 small piece of ginger that I've chopped into small pieces. And then add the chopped onion. I've taken 1 medium onion here and just saute it well and let it fry. And then you can add in some salt as per taste and let it cook well, and then add 1 small tomato chopped up, finely diced, and fry it all up well. Then I'm adding some frozen coconut, shredded coconut. You can add fresh grated coconut as well. We don't get it here, so I'm adding frozen. So let that cook well. And for 1 cup of wheat rava, I am using 3 cups of water. So just adding that here and letting it boil. Have a taste and then add more salt if needed. And just add chopped up coriander leaves in the end. And then we add in the rava and just cover it and let it cook for about, I would say, 6 to 10 minutes. So have a timer and then just cover it and leave it on low to medium flame and let it cook well. And then it's ready to be served. So put it on a plate and enjoy this yummy, nutritious wheat rava upma. The next breakfast item is oats dosa. For this, I'm taking 1 cup of ground oats. So just take quick cooking oats and grind it finely in the mixie. And then half a cup of rice flour and half cup of rava. Here I have taken roasted rava. You can just take regular upma rava. And then 1 cup of yogurt and quarter of a chopped onion, quarter or half, and then 2 to 3 green chilies finely chopped, some curry leaves chopped up, coriander leaves that I've chopped up, and this is some grated ginger that I'm adding. It gives a very nice flavor. A teaspoon of cumin seeds and some pepper powder. This is some salt I'm adding here. I would say a teaspoon of pepper powder and a teaspoon of salt, and just mix it all up really well, adding some water. So about 1 cup of water, and mix it nicely, and then leave it to rest, and the rava and the oats will soak up some water and the batter will get a little thick. So just before you are going to make the dosa, add another cup of water and mix it really well with no lumps. And the yogurt, if it's sour, it's really good. For added flavor, just add some, again, freshly grated coconut or frozen grated coconut. And then the batter is ready to be made into dosas. So oats is rich in fiber, packed full of nutrients. It's heart healthy, full of iron, magnesium, minerals and vitamins, and really keeps you full and gives you a lot of energy. So to go with this, I'm making a yummy chutney, and for this you take half a cup of roasted chickpeas and 1 cup of coconut, grated coconut. And here I'm just frying up 4 garlic cloves and 2 to 3 green chilies. I'm adding a small bit of tamarind, just a small piece, and a handful of coriander leaves that I've washed and cleaned. And once the garlic and the chilies are nicely roasted, you add them to the mixie jar, the blender, and just grind it into a fine paste chutney, adding some salt and a little bit of water to grind. And then this yummy chutney can be served with the dosa. So now to make dosa, the batter has to be really thin and watery. So this is the kind of consistency you want with the batter when you pour it. It has to be really watery, and the pan has to be very, very hot just before pouring. So to do the test, sprinkle some water on the pan and you'll know if it's hot enough. And then start pouring the dosa from the sides, from the edges of the pan to the center, kind of like how you make rava dosa. Just when you pour it onto the pan, it should spread on its own, creating those gaps. That's what makes it really crispy and very, very tasty. So add some ghee or oil, whatever you want. Once it's browned and the edges leave the sides of the pan, then you flip it over, and there you have it. Such a crispy, yummy, tasty dosa. The aroma is great. Serve it with this green coriander coconut chutney, and it's the best breakfast, I tell you. So soft but so crispy, but so nutritious. So have a go at it and let me know when you try it how it turns out. It's mouth-watering. So for this dosa, I have taken 1 cup of moong dal that I've soaked overnight and left it for 2 days to sprout. And this is how the dried one looks. So you can use it without letting it sprout in just one night. Overnight you soak it and the next day you can grind. But just to make it more nutritious, it's great if you let it sprout. And then you just add it to a blender with an inch-long piece of ginger. I'm adding 1 green chili. And then just give it a blend with some water, just enough to grind it. You don't want it to be too watery. To tell you a little bit about moong dal is actually considered to be one of the best plant-based sources of protein. So you're going to have such a good filling breakfast, but also so energetic, so healthy, full of protein, minerals, and nutrients. So once we are done grinding the batter, I'm just adding 1 tablespoon of rice flour to this because this makes it crispy. Adding some salt here and mix it well, and make sure your pan is hot. So sprinkle some water, do the water test, and then you're ready to spread the batter. So spoonful of batter in the center, and then just circle it. Put some oil or ghee around it to grease the pan, and once the edges start leaving the pan and it gets brown, just flip it over gently, and there you have it. Yummy, brown, crispy, tasty moong dal dosa or pesarattu. You can have it with any kind of chutney you like. I just love to have it with some plain homemade yogurt. That's my favorite side dish for this dosa. So that's what I'm gonna have today. That you can have it with the same coconut chutney or any other side dish that you like. I'm using foxtail millet for this recipe. So half cup of foxtail millet along with half cup of moong dal, which is the split and de-skinned yellow moong dal. And this is such an awesome combination because millet actually improves your blood sugar levels and your insulin production and metabolism, and moong dal is rich in protein. So this is a power-packed breakfast, and I'm going to add some veggies to this. So here I'm adding some ghee, and to that I'm adding all these whole spices: 2 cardamom pods, 3 to 4 cloves, a small piece of cinnamon, 1 big elaichi, half a teaspoon of fennel seeds, half a star anise, and some peppercorns and a bay leaf. So if you want to increase the measurement, you can just double all the spices to the grains. So I've added half or 1 small onion slit lengthwise, and once that is sauteed and browned, I have added a small tomato, or you can say half of a big tomato, and adding some salt here and a teaspoon of turmeric powder, and just saute it all well, and the aroma of this is just amazing. So once this is nicely fried and browned, we're gonna add in some slit green chilies here. So I've added 2 green chilies and saute them, and then in goes all the vegetables. So I've had 5 to 6 green beans chopped, 1 medium potato chopped, a small carrot that I've chopped into cubes, and 6 to 7 cauliflower florets that I've cleaned and chopped. And so adding all the vegetables here, they are completely raw. So meanwhile I've washed, and the millets and moong dal are soaking. So once the vegetables are sauteed, I'm just adding in the soaked millet and moong dal, and we'll mix all this up, and then I'll be transferring this to a pressure cooker, and I'm going to be adding 3 to 4 cups of water, because khichdi, you want it to be really watery and runny and not like a pulao. We're going to be adding 3 to 4 cups of water for this. If you don't have a pressure cooker and you want to directly cook it in the pan, then just leave the mixture as it is in the pan and add an extra cup of water and cover the pan and let it simmer away. Now you can have a taste of the water, and the water should taste salty. That's when you know that the salt will be perfect once it's cooked. So close the pressure cooker. Before that, add some freshly grated coconut or frozen grated coconut. And that's it. The khichdi is done. I left it for 1 or 2 whistles, and they are so soft, so well cooked, and just mouth-watering delicious. I mean, look at that. Just amazing. So perfect, balanced, nutritious breakfast, but also so tasty. I mean, who says you can't have healthy and tasty together? So adding a dollop of ghee, don't be afraid to use ghee, guys. It is so nutritious. So adding that and just watching it melt on that hot khichdi is amazing. So make sure you definitely try this out. So the last dish is with ragi. Ragi is a millet, and it's gluten-free. It's rich in fiber, calcium, good carbs, so filled with nutrients. So this is the ragi flour, and to this I'm going to be adding some curry leaves, chopped up curry leaves, chopped up coriander, and chopped up onions, just a handful of each. And I've taken 1 cup of this ragi flour. So, and then I'm going to add some salt to it, and for great taste and flavor, just add some grated coconut, and it tastes so good. and just mix this all up well with your hands. You have to do this with your hands so that you can get a feel of the dough, and not put too much water, but just enough for it to kind of get clumped up like a ball. Now remember, ragi flour doesn't have any gluten or not starchy, so it will not be like regular flour dough, so it will not have any pull and stretch to it. It'll just crumble if you press it too hard. So that's something you have to remember. So just gently roll it into a ball and make sure that it doesn't get crumbled but kind of clump up together, and then just let it rest for some time, and then we can start rolling it out into little rotis. Now some people can really roll out large rotis with this big size, but I'm going to just show you a small handful size so that it's easy to manage, especially if you're doing it for the first time or if you've had no practice. So down here I've taken a parchment paper. Usually people take Ziploc covers or plastic. Now that's dangerous because when you put it down on the hot tawa or pan, the plastic can start melting and sticking. So take a parchment paper or butter paper or baking sheet, it's called, and just put some oil on it, and then take this ball and start flattening it out. At the same time, smoothing the edges with your other hand or with your thumb finger, and start pressing the dough into a nice round shaped disc. So this shouldn't be too thick or too thin. If it's too thin, it'll break, and if it's too thick, it won't cook fast enough and kind of get really hard. So once you put it on the pan, gently just put the sheet on the pan and the sheet will just slide right off, and then you just spread some oil on it, or I like to use butter, or you can have ghee or coconut oil, any oil that you want to use, and you can see the roti changing color, and that's when you just put some oil on it or butter and then gently flip it over and cook it. So each side you can cook it to about 3 to 4 minutes, I would say. And since it's really thin, it will not take long to cook. One thing to keep in mind is to really cook it on a low flame, low to medium, so that it doesn't get too hard. If you want soft rotis, then you have to just patiently let it cook. And once it's done, you can just serve it on a plate with some coconut chutney that I showed you earlier, or you can make any other chutney of your choice, or you can have it with some yogurt too. That tastes really good with some pickle and yogurt. And there it is, guys, a yummy, tasty, soft, and such nutritious and healthy breakfast ragi roti. Thank you so much for watching today's video, guys. I hope you love those recipes and definitely cook them, and let me know in the comments below if you tried out any or all of those recipes and how they turned out. And on Instagram, you can follow me at House Heart Home Life. Post a picture on there and tag me so I'll know how your dish turned out. And if you have any other questions, leave them down below in the comments. If you liked today's video, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe down below. And definitely go and check out Nav Kaur's video too. I'll see you guys in my next video. Till then, bye bye, take care, and fill your home with lots of love.